Class is ready. The professor is here. Could you imagine if I was your college professor? I'd be tiptoeing in the bitch. We'd all do great because I would pass every single one of you regardless of if you failed my course or not. It's symbolism. I need to go get an incense because, like I said, I just arrived to work, and one of my cats decided to not use the litter box, so my room doesn't smell the best. I was obviously late, so the clothes aren't gonna fold themselves. Neither will I. BRB, bitches. I'll be right back. Letty is my life savior, and she always and forever will be. So I'm going to open up this sacred set of incense sticks. I'm going to burn 7, and then, just joking, I'll take 2 out. We won't be selfish. There are other days of the week. I'm just joking. Chicken, motherfucker. So I promise you I have a great video ahead. Patience is virtue. So in 3 minutes it's gonna start. We just have a little thing to say. But one thing that I do want to tell you is how disappointed I am becoming in YouTube. And sorry, YouTube robot who is listening to this before I post it. I don't like where you're going. This morning I logged on because like I literally just wanted to get onto YouTube for some reason. Predictive programming, yes. So I jumped on, and I promise you not. Are you coming? Guess who's back with the rat-a-tat-tat? Okay, so I'm looking sharp. I'm looking sharp. I have a new narrative where I'm never gonna speak negatively to myself or about myself again. So, welcome to my channel. What I was saying is I woke up this morning and I was in a very, very good mood. One, because I know I needed to be since I wanted to record, and I've been wanting to record for a while now. I've just been a little busy. I woke up in a great mood, and what I should have done was just go over my notes, keep my head clear of all programming. But instead, I wanted to I don't know if I wanted to check in with my channel, but I didn't because I went to the YouTube app as opposed to like my studio app, which tells me the analytics of my channel, as opposed to the YouTube app that just shows you what everybody's seeing. I opened up YouTube, and I'm an opus. I'm an opus. I am an open, honest Betsy when I say I would show you this picture, but I can't. I don't want to. The first ad that was on top of my screen was a woman with her legs on a above platform, and her hands were somewhere they shouldn't have been. For the public to see. I only say that because of how many children I have literally in my life viewed being given a tablet and just YouTube plays for them, so the ads don't, the parents don't know what ads are being popped up to these kids. It's different like me being an adult. Cool, I see that and I'm still like, what do I feel about that? Anyway, all I have to say is I was like, what the hell? And the title was a song. It was like the new song of something. I forget what it was. And I clicked on it because why wouldn't I? I'm an investigator. And it literally told me that I can subscribe to see different content. All I'm trying to say is YouTube is literally switching over to what everybody else is doing. Like, I get it, sex sells, but what are we programming the children to? And what's even more funny is this ties into, where's my notebook? This ties into what I was going to talk about without me even meaning it to. So I woke up, I saw this thing, and I promise you, I told you, I was in great spirit. That's not what I want to see, and especially unintentionally. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what is going on with this world? I don't get it. So I am only here to try to help you as much as I possibly can. I'm no doctor, I am no therapist, I'm just a person experiencing this world and its crazy schemes as much as you and everybody else. Throughout, I would honestly say these last couple months, I have been trying to just like reground myself and focus on research and giving better advice like I've told you guys. So I have been reading a lot, and it's so interesting because I went to the bookstore for the first time in a long time, like 3 days ago maybe. I don't know, I lose track of time like I lose my fingernails. And I got a book in the bookstore, but then I also saw the free bin that was outside, and I always take advantage of that because why not? And the first book I got, it didn't have a cover, it didn't have anything, and I know I probably sound like this all the time, like, oh my god, you guys, I found a book just randomly. I swear to god, I did. And as I've told you guys before in my book review videos, I don't always like reading the back of the books, opening them up, seeing what they're about. Sometimes if the universe says, girl, grab that book, I grab that book, and I just walk away and see what it does. So I did that, and the book that I got is really opening my mind. I haven't sat down and lost myself in a book for hours in a really long time, and I have been finding myself doing that the last 3 days. So what I was reading really made me think of a small concept, and I promise you, you know how I usually have my notes that are all like 5 pages long? This is all we're talking about, from here to there. That's all I want to talk about today. But I'm really hot right now, sorry. You guys know me, I sweat when I'm nervous. I wanted to talk to you guys about this topic because there are so many of us that, for one, our whole lives, regardless of the pandemic that's going on, regardless of all of this stuff that's going on, nobody even knows what's going on right now. I think that's our fault. We all need to be doing more research and not just feeding into what everybody else is telling us, But I think it's very important for all of us to understand that none of us are alone in this time. None of us are... creepy. None of us are ever alone, ever. So I just want to be the one to tell you that right here off of the bat. If you feel like you are alone, if you feel like nobody understands you, if you feel like your family is so on the opposite side of the world as you, that's okay. That's alright. We need to focus on what's happening right now to us so we can fix us and, move forward, right? That's what I want to talk about today. I was reading this book, and so it's not like I'm literally going to take all of this for credit, like I just made it, I went to sleep and woke up and thought about this. No, I've been reading, I've been studying, and I've been doing some research into some things because, like I said, I want to be here just for you guys, and I can't do that if I'm not confronting the stuff that needs to be confronted. So what's so interesting is, in this little page that I read, this author, and I know I sound so goofy, I forget what the book is called, I forget who the author is, and I don't have it on me right now, so, my bad. Ta-ta for now. I'm just joking. They talked about the notion of humans getting into the habit of non-confronting things. We're humans, cool, we get that, we've talked about this a lot, but we're not just humans and we're not just our bodies. We have a mind, we have a spirit, we have sometimes an intuition, we have dreams, we have emotions, and cool if they're temporary, cool if they're not, they're still there. We as humans, if one of those things are off balance, if our emotions are off balance, if we're physically off balance, if we are mentally off balance, something's gonna happen. Something will be a result of being off balance. That can result in a whole plethora of things. And that was what kind of sparked my mind to the variety of ways people choose to not confront the things that they need to confront. I feel like the human mind, and have you ever heard the saying, oh, that thing has a mind of its own? Like, there's a lot of things out there that have a mind of its own. But you've heard that saying before, like, oh my god, I swear that person just has a mind of its own. Our minds itself are like a computer. Our brains are like a computer, all right? So just our body itself, we're not talking about our spirit. Our brains are a computer. It's always decoding things. It's always remembering things, whether it's our conscious or our subconscious brain. We are always locking onto things, even if we don't remember them. The only reason I say that is we're speaking to somebody who suffers a short-term memory loss. The brain still remembers things, even if, the mind doesn't. I know it sounds so crazy, but you probably know what I'm talking about. There are things out there that we swear we should be remembering, but we're not. There's things we should be confronting, but they're not. So the notion of our mind having its own ability to kind of not take control of itself, but, kind of take the steering wheel and be like, all right, well, if you're not going to do anything, I'm going to do something, because you're not doing anything. And from personal experience, I definitely think that there is a survival mode that is in between fight or flight that a normal human goes through. Like sometimes when we are confronted with a crazy situation, we either fight it or we run from it. But there's some people who go on autopilot, and I promise I have been there more than once in my life. You literally go on autopilot where it's a survival mode, and your body is doing what it needs to do to survive because your mind is literally incapable of doing anything. I mean, I could only be speaking for myself, but I know I'm not alone. I really, truly know I'm not alone. And the more I live, the more I realize that there are a lot of people out there that are just like me. So the more we single ourselves out, the harder it's going to be to really put ourselves out there for healing and, getting that energy that we need, because we are never alone. But back to what I was saying, our mind has this little gear that it goes into when it doesn't know what to do. And I believe that gear is what this author is talking about when we start doing non-confronting activities. So when we are not confronting something that we know needs to be confronted, our mind is producing something, even if it's unconsciously known to us. Our mind will produce a distraction so we don't have to confront those issues, either because it's been conditioned to know that, hey, if I confront this, it's going to give me anxiety, it's going to give me maybe depression, it's going to take me back to places I don't want to be reminded of. I might not want to do anything the next day. So our mind might be conditioned, regardless of our little day-to-day stuff that's like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. We still have a subconscious mind that works and remembers everything. So if throughout the years of our lives, our subconscious has remembered the pattern that we've always taken that reflects ourselves away from the conflicts that we need to have, why would we think that today we would have the ability to confront everything amidst a pandemic, amidst all of our emotions that are swirling around our heads, amidst all of the chaos in our day-to-day lives? That would be very, very, very silly of us. So I think one of the first steps to start taking progress towards a life that we really desire is understanding the habits that we have fallen into to make us not confront the things that we need to. In the book that I read, they listed a couple things that I resonated with and I agreed with, and I was like, okay, I get that, but I wanted to take a step outside of that and write down a list of my own things that I think could be defined as a non-confronting thing. The top 3 things that this author listed was getting sick, getting bored, and getting tired. So think about it. When we get sick, even just the common cold, when we get bored or we get tired, sometimes it might be in a time of our lives where we really need to be taking control of outside sources. I can resonate with all 3 of those things. There's times where I have gotten sick and I don't think I should have really been getting sick. So for example, what I mean was, do you guys remember when I made the video of when my dad passed away and all of a sudden my eye became just like swollen and sensitive and I wasn't feeling well? I knew nothing really contributed to that, but my mental being and my mental state. That's why I was like, oh my god, guys, my eye will go back to normal. Like, this happens when I'm stressed. Have you guys ever noticed that when you really have something to do, or you're reading and studying for school or for homework, and all of a sudden you get bored and you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore? How do we know that's just not our mind's old habits of being like, hey, I'm not having fun anymore, I'm not really being entertained on the spectrum I'm used to? Why don't we just stop and go do something that we're used to doing, as opposed to challenging ourselves, experiencing new things, and learning different subjects and just different topics like school usually does for us. I know some of them are just, above the scheme of things, but you get what I mean. There's also times where, even myself, I know I have a video to make. I know I need to take notes. All of a sudden I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. But 2 seconds ago I wasn't tired. I really do think that this author is onto something when they say our mind has a way of, even if it's unconsciously, distracting ourselves. When we're in a position of fear or anything, we don't want to deal with that issue up front, because why would we want to feel discomfort? We're usually a creature of our comfort zone. That's what we've been talking about for months now, and about the importance of stepping outside of our comfort zone. I took to myself and I said, well, he listed a couple things. There has to be other things than just getting bored, getting tired, and getting sick that could be a result of our minds wanting to distract ourselves. So I was like, well, What if food could be a way that our mind chooses to distract ourselves from what we need to do? Meaning, sometimes we may get in the habit of overeating or eating things that are very unhealthy for us, but we just have that like little voice in our shoulder that's like, why not? Why don't you just, we made the video, eat the cookie, why not? Sometimes that voice is a little bit too loud. Maybe that's an example of our mind trying to create a distraction for the real issues that we need to face. Maybe we need to start working out a little bit more than what we're eating, or maybe we just need to change the eating habits that we have. Maybe we're eating too much at one point and then too little at other times of the day, and our body's just like, what are you doing? Our mind is really kind of just distracting itself from what it really needs to do. I've always thought about this, and I'm only saying this because of the little things my mind has told me growing up, but sometimes our own mind and our own selves can be our worst enemy. We can tell ourselves lies and we believe it. And the more we tell ourselves those lies, the more we become in a habit of just telling ourselves that. So then pretty soon it becomes an unconscious thing that our subconscious just pushes forward, and we believe it because why don't we believe ourselves? We're told to trust ourselves and our heart and our intuition. I don't think that's our true intuition that's telling us these negative things. I think it's us not confronting what needs to be confronted, mixed with us being programmed not only by ourselves because we're consistently telling ourselves negative things, but what is the media pushing out? I mean, I didn't wake up to an inspirational quote this morning. Remember what I told you? I literally woke up to a girl doing things that I shouldn't even be watching. So it's like, why is the media pushing these things onto us? I think it's for a reason, and I think it's to program us into acting a certain way, because if we're all programmed and conditioned to just feel like little minuscule things, why would we not rise above and just defeat and conquer our own world because we all are in control of it? That's not what the media wants us to think. The media wants us to think that the politics and everybody and their brothers are who is in control of us, that money controls us, the government controls us. We control ourselves, but we've been programmed to not believe that anymore. And now, because we've been programmed to not really take control, now when the issues do pop up, of course our mind is going to go to external resources or even internal resources to distract ourselves. Like I said, that's why we might get tired. That's why we might get bored. That's why we might start getting really forgetful. That might be why people just want to die. People just want to get high and drunk. We don't want to face the real issues that are happening. Our mind, whether we want to believe it or not, is being programmed. I promise. I've seen it. And remember when I told you I literally deleted social media for years just to see the programming. And now that I'm back on it, I am seeing things that I never in my right mind even realized when I was on it before. I know what I am interested in. I know what I watch and what I spend my time listening to on the internet. It's not what the ads give me. We all have this whole social dilemma, like we made the video going on, where we think everything's being pushed towards us because it's what we are putting out there. You can put out all the positive stuff in the world. Social media isn't a positive place unless you look for it. If social media and what it's made for, money, attention, not even attention, but lowering our attention span, that's why everybody's on TikTok now as opposed to watching 40-minute long YouTube videos, because why does anybody want to sit there and be entertained or try to be entertained for 40 minutes when each 6 seconds we can be entertained with a new thought, idea, or person? We haven't even sat down with the person that's inside of us and figured out what's wrong with us. And it's because, like I said, we are non-confronting ourselves with the cell phone. We're non-confronting our issues with drugs, with music, with any type of media that's not helping us get outside of that. When was the last time we did something that was so exciting we forgot to pick up our phone? I do it all the time. So I sometimes forget to post to Instagram for a really long time or even post YouTube videos. I've been really focused on the outside world because this is still spinning way faster than the media is, way faster than Instagram or any social media is. Social media is ruining us. That just says more about ourselves as a human. When we don't confront things, we're not dealing with what's really happening, what is happening. We're always worried about what should have happened or what should be happening. So what should have happened is in the past. What should be happening is in the future. Well, what about what's happening right now? I was saying this the other day. What should have happened may not have been what was supposed to have happened. So if we're sitting here, it's like me sitting here and being like, I should have my parents. I should just have my parents. If every day I sat there and told myself that, I probably wouldn't leave my house, I probably wouldn't get out of bed, and I would be questioning the universe in the strangest of ways. You know what I mean? Instead, I had to accept what is, and I had to move forward. Whether that be with school, whether that be with a relationship, whether that be with a pet, whether that be that something is going wrong with our car. I should have done this, I should have done that. Okay, well, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and you didn't. So why are you worrying about it? Worry about what is happening right now and how we're going to fix this. A lot of us feel like we are so out of control. That's what they want us to think. That's why the media controls us. That's why they feed us. We don't even feed ourselves. And what I mean by that is, when was the last time you walked out to the garden and picked your own vegetables or killed your own animal to make your own meal? We rely on everybody but ourselves. That's why we feel so crazy, because ourselves are the only one who is in control of our life. So when we feel out of control and then we're controlled by everybody else, mankind is literally defeating itself. I don't know where we're going. The rich are still making it. The successful are still making it. But the people that don't believe in themselves and that aren't egotistically driven by this weird materialistic world, they're failing. That's what they want, though. Because what if everybody was succeeding? Like I said, as a universal consciousness, what if everybody was on the same page of wanting to just build, help, stop this weird stuff that's going on. Stop relying on the government and people who really don't know what they're talking about. But we take everything at face value. And I think that's another thing that's happening. And that's why I say we are programmed consistently, day in and day out, both by ourselves and by the outside sources. We believe everything we hear at face value. We need to gain control. And it starts up here with our own thinking. If we don't even control our own thinking, we can't control our actions, and we cannot control our environment or the society. That's why they control our thinking, and we are all feeling like sheep, and we're all feeling so useless, so helpless. We feel helpless. But it's because, I swear, I promise, I feel like we are programmed to believe that way, whether it's from ourselves or from the outside. We can be doing better. I promise. I could be doing better. You could be doing better. We all could be doing better. If we were all doing better, it would really benefit this community. Am I wrong? I definitely know that there is a reason why we are experiencing what we are experiencing right now. There's a reason why they don't want us to deal with what's happening right now, and everybody's just so worried about the next month or worried about the government paying them. Why have we become so unreliant and self-sufficient? We cannot sustain ourselves as humans. We don't build our own houses. We don't filter our own water. We don't grow our own fruits. We don't raise our own animals. We have to just read everything off Google. We need to be connected to the internet. Knowing how negative it is. Knowing how some of us find pure enjoyment outside of everything. Meaning when we hang out with the people we love, when we go into the garden, when we swim in the ocean, when we are driving in the wind at 60 miles an hour, feeling the world around us. That's where anxiety doesn't rest. Anxiety rests in non-confronting things. Anxiety rests in social media. And I only say that because it takes hard work to really make social media work in your benefit. You cannot log on to social media nowadays and just think you're going to be blasted with some positivity. And I think that speaks a lot on humanity. It really does. Nowadays, young girls are just comparing themselves. There's a new weird dance. There's a new weird artist. There's a new weird song. There's a new generation of kids just being handed these laptops who see the same things I see. And me as an adult, it makes my spirit feel weird. I can't even imagine a human who doesn't even comprehend life yet seeing that thing and their subconscious keeping track of that. It's just no wonder we're so comparative when we grow up. That's what makes money. Like insecurities sell. That's why I go past dentist's office and I see Botox advertisements on the windows. You know? It's just like, we get it. Money sells, sex sells. Is that what humans were like destined to do? To compare themselves, to be promiscuous, to be judgmental, to be egotistical, to expect everybody to think like them, look like them, and act like them, you know? Now everybody thinks we have to be the same way or make money the same way, or when they see what is making money, fast money isn't good money, you guys, and I'm really sorry to say that, but hard work is what it takes. Dedication is what it takes. Make solid money. Make, you know, and I'm only speaking because, like I told you, I want to be the big sister that many people don't have. I don't want to just be the person that's like, okay, go do what you want, because sometimes you got to learn from other people's mistakes, and people are not paying attention to other people's mistakes, so they just go out and do what they want, and then they hinder their spirit and their progress, and they block their blessings. When in reality, we could all just be learning from one another. Like, there's so many things that I've been wanting to talk about lately, but for some reason I have been worried about it, and I just need to stop being worried about that. That is me non-confronting things that probably should be confronted because nobody else is talking about them. YouTube does not need to turn into OnlyFans. There are kids here. This is a kid platform. So when I click on a page and it's asking me to subscribe so I could see explicit content and I'm on YouTube, I cannot believe that. But then there's other people out here who, for one, can't even make a dime off of YouTube. They work their butts off to make research videos, and then they get flagged and blocked because it doesn't contribute or agree with YouTube guidelines. But it takes a click of a button to find explicit content all over YouTube that is accessible to both adults and children. This stuff is in your face, explicitly being shown, and it's like, no wonder. No wonder. And not to sound like a conspiracy nuthead, but you guys watch Black Mirror on Netflix all of the time. And they have very great messages. What happens when the TV turns off and when your cell phone turns off? You're literally looking into a black mirror. It programs you as opposed to you programming yourself. The more time you spend in front of the mirror, whether it be a regular mirror that everybody compares themselves in front of, people want to look like everybody else, look like Kardashians in the mirror. Everybody compares themselves when they're on the screen because they see something and then they don't look like that in the mirror. Like, everything is like a mirror. We mirror ourselves. If we can't be alone by ourselves, if we can't love ourselves, it's a direct reflection of our self-esteem. They don't want people to have self-esteem, because self-esteem, confidence, love, empathy, passion, that grows. It doesn't sell, but it grows. The reason it doesn't sell is because how physically hard it is to get there. Becoming passionate, becoming determined, becoming non-resistant, it takes very hard work. It does not take hard work to sit there and compare yourself to any other model on Instagram or to watch a video that tells you to lose weight and now you feel so different about yourself. It was real easy for that to happen, but it's going to be a lot harder for you to be positive about yourself. What does that say about human nature? We've literally become an addictive magnet towards negativity to where our spirit as a human being, which is multidimensional, is so stuck in this materialistic world, we can't even wake up without seeing weird things or comparing ourselves to things. It shouldn't be like that, you know? That's why I went from wanting to become, you know, and this might be why my channel is going in the way it does. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be in Hollywood. I want to build a self-sustainable but I want to build a self-sustainable little plot of land for my family and their generations to grow up on so they don't have to feed into this BS. It doesn't even have to be connected to Wi-Fi. It has its water. It has its food. It has its environment. It has a place for people to gather real intuitive thoughts because they aren't being programmed by anything. The food isn't programming them. Look into why Bill Gates is now the biggest farm owner. Look into this stuff. The habits that we train ourselves to think about, it just becomes our actions, and our actions become our lives. So if we're not happy with our lives, we need to take 3 steps back. To the thoughts we tell ourselves. We can't think about just changing our habits, but keeping the same thought pattern. Our thoughts are what creates our reality. You can take all the action you want in the world. I could work out all I want. If I have a nasty thought process up here that's still telling me I'm nothing, still telling me I'm ugly, still telling me I won't be anything, I'm still going to live that life no matter how much time I'm wasting working out or eating right. I gotta train myself to think different. We gotta train ourselves to think differently. Get outside that comfort zone. Stop telling yourself you're negative and can't do anything. Stop telling yourself you're the only one in pain. The whole world's in pain right now, so we gotta lift each other up. We're not alone. We really aren't. So to think we are alone right now in 2021 and we're the only ones experiencing pain, we are not the only ones experiencing pain right now. Everybody in every single household is experiencing some sort of uneasiness or anxiety that even 10 years ago nobody was experiencing. The whole world is on lockdown right now. The whole world is scared of the freaking air outside. Watch who programs you and what programs you, especially if it's yourself. You can't control the outside media, but you can control yourself and how you do program yourself. So if you need to take away from media and take a break away from people, start taking notes, start reading, and start educating yourself. You have to take the action. Nobody else can. And I don't mean to sound harsh, but nobody else cares either. There's nobody out here who's going to make sure every single day you're on the step to bettering yourself. They got to better themselves too. When we worry about ourselves, we realize that, hey, I don't have to worry about everybody else cheering me on because I could be my own teammate. Remember that video I made, me, myself, and I? We've got this, dude, even if it's the only person we have. We can still carry ourselves on our back. It's possible. I've done it. I've done it. So from me to you, don't let things stop you from confronting the things that really need to be. Don't let yourself get tired. Don't allow yourself to run to social media. Don't allow yourself to run to porn. Don't allow yourself to run to drugs. Don't allow yourself to run to alcohol. Don't allow yourself to run to something that's going to kill your spirit. Just don't. Take a walk outside. Go look at the stars for a little bit. Information will literally expand your mind. So if you're just sitting there only telling yourself the same thoughts over and over and over again, you're on the carousel. It's going in circles. Jump off of that carousel, take that horse with you, and bear back that animal into the world. See where it carries you, because the negative thoughts inside your head, that horse isn't telling itself. He's waiting for a positive person to get on his back so they can both explore the world. You know? Other people are waiting on you. Yourself is waiting on you. The world is waiting on you. We are waiting on you. You know? Now is the time. So we all just got to toughen up a little bit and grab the bull by its horns. You got to grab it by its horns. There are people who look like rag dolls on the back of a bull. They let that bull control them. If there was one man who was able to just grab onto that bull and that bull felt its energy and that bull just took off going forward, happy cowboy, happy bull. Happy mind, happy life. You are the cowboy, the world is the bull. Take it by the horns or let it rattle you around and let it break your back. Or train that bull. That you guys are on the same team. You are on the same team as this world. They want you to think different. That's why they make us so separate. Over everything. If you're not vegan, if you're vegan, if you're not the same color as me, if you're not the same religion as me, if you don't live in the same neighborhood as me, if you're not the same political field as me, let's just divide. Divide and conquer. That's what they do. That's why they're getting so rich. If we all put our puzzle back together, each little piece matters. Each of us individuals matters. We make up the puzzle. They make more profit of us being frisbee. They frisbee our puzzle pieces, one over here, one over here, one over here, because they know single-minded, sad people. They're what are they? What? I've been there. You don't do anything. It's depressing. It's sad, and it's a black hole. But if all these puzzle pieces started maneuvering, getting together, building their own society, building their own ecosystem, maybe we wouldn't be in such a reverse right now that it's going to be really hard to climb out of this hole. We all got to start now before it's too late, because pretty soon, like a year from now, you really think we're not in control? Lord Almighty. Got to deal with what is. And if you find your mind not being able to deal with what is, and you find yourself getting distracted, or just yourself is saying, I can't do this, think about what's programmed yourself. Have you programmed yourself to be thinking that way? Has society programmed yourself that way? Your friends, your family? Reset switch. It's the reset switch, and when you want it. Nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do, especially yourself. It's the same with happiness. It's the same with bettering yourself. It's the same with exercise. It's the same with any habit you want to break, whether it's mental or physical. It all starts in a thought process. Thoughts turn into habits, and habits turn into form and lifestyle. So please take this advice from me. Do not let social media program you. Do not let politics program you. Do not let your parents program you. Be a free spirit. Understand how it and what it takes to do that. It takes patience, and it takes time, and it takes effort. Nothing happens in the blink of an eye. The power of a seed, the power of a thought. If you plant negative seeds and negative thoughts, you're just going to live in a rose bush with no buds. So, yeah. I really just hope this helped. I haven't really just made a video where I'm talking in a while. So, didn't follow all of my notes, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that you guys kind of understood where I'm coming from. That, if you don't control yourself, something else will. Whether that be your own thoughts, your own parents, your own environment, or the media. Outside sources. Something will program you if you don't. So if you want to live the life that you want to live, you are in control of it. Nobody else is. Your partner isn't, your best friend isn't, your mom isn't, your dad isn't. You are. Got to gain the control. You have to. Learn what it's like to fall in love with yourself. That's my biggest piece of advice that I guess I can leave off with today is the more we learn to love ourselves, the more we are able to just be a little bit more emotionally detached from the crazy emotional world that's out there. You can't be linked hand in hand with the crazy world or you will go crazy. You got to separate yourself, detach yourself, reprogram yourself. And then take note on what caused you to fall into that negative habit. It could have been an old relationship. It could have been a teacher. It could have been something you watch on TV. You got to think about what programmed you. Go to the source. You can't just fix the pain. Fix the source. You know what I mean? So that is all I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed. As always, I will see you later and on our next adventure.